Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you, just for you. In the morning sun, where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade.
Hello, howdy partners. Welcome to our bargain bonanza. So this week what we've done is we've rounded up a whole herd of specials, and we're going to be running through 100 different specials, and you can do your whole garden project. You can buy exotic little specialties. There's wonderful useful landscape plants, things you could mass plant, hedges, whatever you want is in our bargain bonanza this week. And you can, and like it says, bargain, these plants are really, really cheap. So this is your chance to buy up your plants cheap, and we deliver over most of Victoria for free when you spend over $300. So if you're down in Bacchus Marsh or over in Wonthaggi or something like that, if you spend $300 at our bargain bonanza, if you spend $300 at our bargain bonanza, you can get free delivery out to Terrelgan, up to Moe, down in Morwell. So we've got free delivery. And the other thing is, if you've been thinking of getting a garden design, this is a great week, because if you come in and get your garden design this week, you can get your plants on the bargain bonanza and save up big. So real bargain bonanza. And here's my trusty steed, Harry, and we're into it. So let's go with the bargain bonanza. Now, if you want some exotic romance in your life, here's the plant for you. You can grow this in a pot or grow it in the garden. It's a vigorous, large growing shrub, and this will flower this summer. And what happens, it has beautiful fragrance. These funny little light green flowers, and it has fabulous fragrance at night time. It's called night blooming jasmine, and these are normally expensive and hard to get. Nice big 8-inch pots. Really a hard plant to get. Instead of paying $24.99, it's $16.99. So night blooming jasmine, $16.99. Now some people call it that Toorak plant. If you go down to Toorak, you'll see walls, you'll see panels of big mansions, you'll see all over the place, you'll see fences, retaining walls, you'll see them covered in these beautiful sort of green coverings. It's evergreen and they're little round leaves. And what you do is you plant one of these. If you want to cover a wall quickly, you'd plant one of these every half a metre along and cover that ugly old wall. You might have a big brick wall from the garage next door, looming over your outdoor entertaining area. Well, this is the plan for you. You plant these every half a metre, and in 2 years you can cover the whole wall, turn it all green. They're called Ficus pumila. Normally they're $8.99. These are only $5.99, and they're quite a reasonable sized plant. Great to cover a wall or a fence, and only $5.99, and we've got 50 of them available, so a couple of people can cover an ugly old garage or a wall or whatever they want to cover. Now what's interesting, if you look at these, they're covered in little flower buds, and this is a wonderful plant, and it's sometimes called a native wisteria because it has, in late winter, early spring, it has beautiful blue wisteria-like flowers, but unlike the wisteria, it's evergreen. Now, say you have an ugly old tank you want to cover, say you've got an ugly old fence, an ugly old shed, an ugly old anything. This is the plant. It's fast growing, it's evergreen. All through the year it's got these beautiful sort of dense cover of sort of gum leaf type leaves. It'll grow in the shade, grow in the sun, grow in poor soil, grow without too much water. And then late winter, early spring, absolutely covered for about 2 months in these beautiful blue wisteria flowers, and sometimes called a native, but most commonly called happy wanderer. And it can even be used as a ground cover. If you've got an embankment that you want something to cover up quickly and have beautiful green leaves and fabulous flowers at the end of winter and spring, Happy Wanderer is the answer. So cover an embankment, cover an old tank, cover an old shed, cover anything. And these Happy Wanderers here have been reduced from $16.99 to $12.99, and they're big healthy plants. Look at that. Beautiful big healthy plants, $12.99 for Happy Wanderer. Now here we have one of the best ground covers around. Here it is, it's called Muehlenbeckia. Now Muehlenbeckia, or Muehlenbeckia complexa, you can grow this over a wire frame. People make sculptures out of it, but most of all it's used to cut, people in the old days, they'd have an ugly old wire fence, and instead of ripping it out and putting a normal fence in there, they'd plant these along there, and this will go in the most beautiful green wall of vegetation. And I've seen these. I had one customer, they put up a 6-foot fence, they planted little plants like this, and in 12 months their 6-foot fence was completely enveloped with beautiful green foliage. And what's good about this particular plant, you'll see there that there's no big branches or sticks. So what you'll find is that it trims easily. You're not cutting through big branches and sticks. It's just like cutting through grass. And so you use your hedge trimmer, and you can make beautiful narrow hedges. All you need is some sort of wire or trellis type support, and they'll grow up, they'll bind it all together and last forever. And it's a beautiful, long lasting. There's a hedge in Nearham South that I go past. I've been going past it for about 30 years around the bowling green there, and it looks absolutely fantastic. We even made a video about it. So Muehlenbeckia creeper down from $6.99 to $4.99. So that's very cheap to cover up a wire fence at $4.99 each. Now this is one of my favourite climbers. It's called Lady Di. Have a look at that beautiful white. Look at those beautiful. Now evergreen. So what you've got is it's evergreen. So it's a so lush evergreen climber. It's vigorous. It grows in sun or shade. Probably prefers the sun. But what's great about it is it flowers for 6 or 7 months of the year. It's never absolutely covered, it's never drowned in flowers, but lovely clusters of white flowers in deep green luscious foliage, and you can grow it on a fence, grow it over a pergola, grow it over anything, and it's vigorous, it's easy to grow, grows almost anywhere, loves the sun, thrives in the shade, and then white flowers. I think it's the longest of all the climbers that I know of, apart from the only climber that would flower more than it's a white potato vine, which is not as attractive, but your Lady Di would be the longest flowering climber that I know of, and these ones here have been reduced from $16.99 to $12.99, and they're big beautiful plants. Look at that, $12.99, a really big beautiful plant. Lady Di climber, $12.99.
Now, Chris, I'll take this opportunity to say welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another epic Growers Direct flash sale right here at Hello Hello Plants. I'm Jodie. I'll be here with you and Chris for the next 2 hours, chatting with you live, answering your questions and guiding you through all the incredible deals that we have today. We have Fraud, who has joined us on TikTok and has pardon me, asked what ground cover would grow well under bottle brush trees. They are in a sandy and coastal location. They understand that bottle brush leaves excrete a substance that doesn't help things to grow underneath, so allelopathic perhaps. Yeah. And what would grow pretty well? Maybe that
Carpogrodus.
Carpogrodus?
You can't go wrong with Carpogrodus. And if you were to go to our website, everybody's got that hot purpley pink Carpogrodus, but we've got a golden Carpogrodus, beautiful soft golden flowers, but Carpogrodus would be the answer for that situation.
And also the Happy Wanderer might be quite
Happy Wanderer could be good as well. That is a very hardy, versatile plant, but Carpogrodus you couldn't go wrong.
And we've got quite a few people that joined us on Facebook today. So Lisa Rogers says, welcome to Darwin.
Thank you.
And
yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Donna Easton says, yummy, I can taste that gorgeous food. You cannot retire yet, so just keep staying young forever. Safe travels home.
Thank you.
Yes. That's it for notes on Facebook for a minute.
Okay, now what's happening today? It's our bargain bonanza. We've rounded up a heap of bargains. We're going to run you through. You can buy them online. You can come down to the store. You can ring up and book them over the phone. When you see a great bargain, grab hold of it. Now, right now, we've got your pink Pandorea, and this is a beautiful soft pink. Have a look at those beautiful soft pink Pandorea. And your pink Pandorea flowers for 5 or 6 months of the year. Beautiful evergreen, tough, fast, really good reliable climber, and these have been reduced from $16.99 to $12.99. So $12.99, a really great price for pink Pandorea.
Chris, we got lots of comments flooding in. So Fraud said perfect. Thanks for the tips on what grows underneath the bottle brush trees. Tirani has expleted, so excited to hear what's going on about the Bonanza. Just Judici has said, keen to snag some deals. How do we do this?
Well, what you do is you've got this here, and you go there, and we've got 100 items all listed there, fabulous prices. Watch our show. You can ring up and book online. You can jump in the car, hook up the trailer, bolt on the roof rack and head down here and load up with bargains. I've got staff waiting by the phone. I've got staff waiting by in the nursery waiting for you to come down and grab your plants, or just get online and buy them.
Now Tirani has asked, just Judici has asked, are there any natives on the flash sale today?
Yes, there's quite a few natives to come through.
All right, so you're going to have to stay tuned for that one.
Yep.
And Tirani has asked, what's a good indoor plant for a new plant person? I have a spider plant, but it gets bugs in the soil.
What can't you fail with? Lady palm.
Lady palm?
We've had the same lady palm at our house for about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that, actually. They cope well in the harshest conditions.
Yeah, and if you go down to the nursery, you'll find a big mature lady palm can be really expensive, but just buy a little one. Our one was about this big, and now it's about this big, and it's fantastic. And if I had to buy our one, it'd be a $500 one or something. It's real big. So lady palm would be the most bulletproof indoor plant we've ever had. Now we've got Boston Ivy. Now these Boston Ivies don't look real flash, but we'll have them up on the screen here in a sec. Yep. Boston Ivy is it's lush, it's beautiful. That's down at Ascot Vale, those shots there. That's a bit of architecture done with Boston Ivy at the Dan Murphy's there. Absolutely fabulous. So anyway, your Boston Ivy, big luscious foliage, fast growing, grows in the sun, grows in the shade, and we get lots of people in and they've got an ugly fence and they don't want to have to build trellis or do anything like that. You just plant this up against the wall and it'll sense the wall, it'll cling onto the wall and it will go. The first year you might be disappointed with the performance, but the second year it'll eat your wall, it'll cover the wall. And And it's also, I've been involved in a National Trust project, you know, for about 12 years now, where a multi-million-dollar restoration was done and then looked after, and Boston Ivy was planted on it, and I was worried about it damaging the paint or damaging the bricks or the cement or something like that. But basically every year I peeled back a little bit and I found that Boston Ivy would be one of the safest clinging climbers in the world. So Boston Ivy, normally $39.99 for an 8-inch pot. These are only $29.99, and there's lots of Boston. Look at all that Boston. There's mountains of Boston Ivy in every pot. Really, really good value.
Excellent. So Tarani has said, you had the best advertisements. So hyped that you're on here.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
And Tarani also said Lady Palm looks nice.
Yeah, thanks. So here we've got a great deal. These are Chinese Star Jasmine. Now, Chinese Star Jasmine are great for covering a wall, they're great for a ground cover, and if you're in a little bit of a hurry, we've got some Chinese Star Jasmine in 10-inch pots. Now that's about 1 metre tall, it's thick and bushy, that's a really good strong plant, and your 10-inch pot reduced from $59.99, that's a $20 reduction down to $39.99. Then you've got your 6-inch pot, here's your 6-inch pot here, and your 6-inch pot is reduced from $15.99 to $12.99. So really good value, beautiful Chinese Star Jasmine. And then you've got your 8-inch pot from $34.99 down to $26.99. So if you want to cover something in a hurry, go for a bigger one. Or if you've got a big project and you're trying to keep it under control, go for these ones here at $12.99. Use it as a ground cover, cover the wall. It does need a bit of trellis, a bit of coarse wire mesh or something like that. It needs to weave its way up onto something. But Chinese Star Jasmine, great in the shade, great in the sun, great on the ground, great on the wall. Beautiful sort of beautiful covering plant. Very, very practical. I use these in about every second or third garden design that I do because they're just so versatile and so useful. And here you've got your great big 10-inch pots over 1 metre tall for $39.99, your nice little economical 6-inch pots for $12.99, and your 8-inch pots for $26.99. Now what we've got here is we've got Chinese wisteria. Now it's interesting thing, I once imported a collection of wisterias from Hilliers in England, and at any rate, I grew them all for 10 or 12 years on a series of pergolas that I had, and I had double purple and I had Japanese pink and Japanese white and I had all these different ones. And after growing them for years and importing this collection, by the time I built my pergolas and imported them and brought them through quarantine, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars. And after it was all over, I decided that the best wisteria is the Chinese wisteria that you find all over Melbourne. And the reason why it's the best is that a lot of the other wisterias, or most of the other wisterias in Melbourne, will flower with the flowers in amongst the leaves, and you don't really get the impact of the flowers. But your Chinese wisteria flowers without any leaves on it at all, and the flowers are not as large as some of the other varieties, but there's 3 times as many flowers as any other variety, so it'll be absolutely drowning in flowers in springtime. And then at the same time, you've got the most fabulous fragrance, so the fragrance is incredible. And then the other thing that Chinese wisteria does is then in the heat of summer, like could be February, late January, early February, you get a repeat flowering, and it flowers for another 8 weeks or so. And you don't get all covered in flowers, you just get a flower here and a flower there, lovely fragrant flower, and just that lovely touch of blue in amongst your wisteria, so that you've got, and it's a lovely colour, lovely fragrance, very heavy flowering, no foliage, so the best wisteria on the market. And these are lovely, healthy, strong little plants. And these ones here reduced from $29.99 to $21.99. So $21.99 for the best wisteria in the world, a Chinese wisteria. Just your basic form, $21.99. Really great value. And then we've got your 8-inch wisteria. Now, 8-inch wisteria, quite a bit bigger and sturdier, bigger root system. And these ones here are reduced from $49.99 to $24.99. So $24.99, you get a really good size wisteria for $24.99. And what you find, you'll plant that, they'll sit around for a year, and then in the second year they'll go crazy, they'll cover your pergola, they'll do whatever you want. So 8-inch pot Chinese wisteria, $24.99.
Chris, we're back on TikTok where we've got Fraud who said, love your work, bloke, keep it up.
Thank you.
And Orbullion82 has said, what's the best way to keep scale off my orange tree?
Yeah, I think I'd use what's that one we've got over there? I just can't think of
A
the
white
name.
oil?
No, not the white oil. I was going to use a systemic spray. If you're not eating the oranges at the time, a good systemic spray. And we've got. Could you grab the systemic spray for this? I'll give them the name. Thanks. So what we've got here is we've got a quince, and this is your eating quince, and they were $79.99, and they're now $44.99, and they're bare rooted, and they're a good size. Look at that. That's that'll blossom this year, maybe even throw 1 or 2 fruit this year, but you'd actually chop them fruit off, but give it 2 years, you have plenty of fruit. So a beautiful champion quince, bare rooted, for $44.99. So, and what you'll find is we've got lots of fruit trees inside. No, the other one, the systemic one. Now the one in the big packet starts with C. I can't think of the name.
Confidor.
No, not Confidor. No, it's
Now, Chris, with those quinces, did you ever call them by a different name when you were growing up?
No.
Well, in my family, they're all known as quangers.
Really?
Quinces, they know them as quangers. I wonder if anyone else out there also calls them quangers.
Right, okay, I haven't heard that before, but that's a more interesting name than quince.
We've got Kepler19 on Instagram who says, "Hi guys, my mate wants to know what type of fertilizer he should use for his devil's lettuce to grow massive heads."
I reckon a bit of Osmocote would be the go.
Yeah.
Good dose of Osmocote. So here's the one to get rid of the scale. Congard. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name, but that is their Congard. Now, what's good about this stuff here? Now, it's not good to eat the fruit, so you don't when you're eating the fruit or about to harvest, you don't use Congard. It's got a withholding period. But the great thing about Congard is that it works for about a month after you spray it. And if you've got a bad bug problem, if you spray once and then spray again in a month, so you've got 2 months of cover, you've pretty much wiped them out.
Chris and Fraud is back on TikTok and has said, "I have heard it, haha." I think he's talking about the quangers.
Oh, right, cool. Okay, so now we've got your old bay tree, and these ones here, $8.99. So if you want to get now a bay tree, you can keep a bay tree in a pot. When I'm doing a garden design, I often suggest that people doing a little pot of herbs or doing a little herb garden, I say, why not throw a bay tree in the middle and prune it into a nice shape, because bay trees can be shaped and pruned into beautiful shapes. And so why not? And so this would be a great thing to put into your herb garden. And they're only $8.99. And this is the bay tree that you eat. This is the thing that you put in your lamb roast.
Now Mikey's chimed in on TikTok. Hi Mikey. Mikey said, "Oh my God, it's the hello guy, Aussie legend."
hello. That's right. So here we've got a Malice Sundowner. This is a super dwarf apple. It's bare rooted and it's reduced from 99 to $59.99. So $59.99, and you've got a beautiful grafted dwarf apple. Apple trees can grow into towering monsters, but these dwarf ones here, I reckon this only grows 3.5 meters. And you can even prune it and keep it a bit smaller if you wanted to, but it's beautiful super dwarf. And Sundowner is a fabulous red apple, really nice, and $59.99.
Now Kepler19 is on Instagram, has said, "Thanks a lot guys, that's for the tip on the Osmocote. Have a lovely weekend and keep warm."
Cool, thanks. Now where we're at is this. We're right in the middle now of our bargain bonanza. We've rounded up a whole heap of specials. Now here's a real special here. This is your Del Morocco olive, $79.90 down to $59.99. Look what a beautiful olive that is. There's people using olives as indoor plants, and they've been buying these ones like this because they're great value, great size. And this one here is particularly, is a good olive for eating, a good olive for oil extraction, but it's also a great olive for looking at. It's thick and bushy and beautiful, so it's a really good ornamental olive, and only $59.99. So $59.99 for a beautiful big 6-foot ornamental olive. Now here we have a Piccolini olive, and again a really beautiful olive, 6 foot tall, and only $59.99, reduced from $79.99. This is, you can grow this as a hedge, grow it as a pot plant. You might be living up high, you know, in a high-rise building, and you're looking for a really tough plant that's going to take the sun and the wind and the heat in a pot. Well, this Piccolini would be fantastic for growing in a pot in an exposed and difficult site. So really useful plant, and enormous bushy olive for $59.99. Now this is an amazing deal. This olive here is called Athena's Choice. It's a variant of your what's your big olive that everybody wants? Your Kalamata. Yeah, it's a variant of the Kalamata, direct from Greece. Beautiful big olives, and it's called Athena's Choice. And the incredible thing, these are, if you've been thinking about buying an olive but been waiting for that right bargain, here it is, Athena's Choice. Beautiful big 8-inch pot, and $12.99. So $12.99 for an 8-inch pot, Athena's Choice.
We've got Hack Hacker on TikTok who says, we have lots of scraps at bakery, and would sourdough or dill make good compost?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, for sure. Mix it up with a bit of soil and stuff and just put it in layers and rot it down.
And Swift Parrot 3789 has said, wow, that's so good. And they're talking about the Athena olives, I think.
Yeah, $12.99. It's the best olive deal I've had in years. Now, there's two sorts of persimmon, and like in summer, I really enjoy eating mangoes. And then in winter, I swing over to the old persimmon. It's my winter mango replacement. And the best persimmons are the ones that are sweet and crisp like apples. And this is one of those. It's called Fuyu, and it's a sweet, crisp one. It's not one of those ones that have to decompose a bit before they become edible. And anyway, so this is called Persimmon Fuyu, and they're normally $199, and this one's reduced to $89.99, and you've got a 5-foot Persimmon Fuyu, and these are. Now, what's interesting about persimmons is persimmons have beautiful flowers, they have beautiful foliage, they have beautiful autumn colour, and they have really beautiful looking fruit. And I think that they're probably the most aesthetic fruit tree you can have. So even if you couldn't eat them, they're almost worth having because of the beautiful blossom, beautiful summer foliage, and then beautiful autumn colour. Now here's a real treasure here. This is a Morello cherry, and your Morello cherry is a small dark cherry. Comes a little bit later, it's sort of a bit after Christmas. I mean, we used to go out and pick Morello cherries for seed, and they used to use them for growing for the basic one. But it's a beautiful little cherry, and it's sour. It's a sour cherry, and you can make wonderful things with it. I remember when we were a kid, we used to collect seed of them, but we'd actually make wine out of them. But this is a wonderful rare cherry tree to have, and if you've never had a sour cherry, you're missing out. And anyway, so what we've got here, the old Morello cherry, normally really hard to get, reduced from $59.99 to $36.99. So $36.99, a Morello sour cherry. And sour cherries are used a lot in Europe in various recipes and things like that. I think Germans love them, and Italians and French and that all love their sour cherries. And here it is, your beautiful. I think the sour cherry is a real delicacy.
I think the Morellos are very good for making glacé cherries.
Oh, right.
As well, yeah.
Okay, now here we have a dwarf plum. And anyway, this one here is a Satsuma. Now, most plums can go to monsters. Now, your Satsuma is a great plum to have because it's fully self-pollinating. So you don't need, if you've only got a small yard and you want to have a plum, and this one has beautiful, the fruit is purple on the outside and red and purple on the inside. So really rich coloured fruit. I love the flavour of the Satsuma. So beautiful. I think this is my absolute favourite plum tree, and it's great because you only need one of them to get fruit. And this is reduced from $89.99 to $54.99. So $54.99, a 6-foot dwarf Satsuma. This will be out producing fruit in no time.
Chris Fraud was on TikTok, and he said, enjoy the afternoon, guys. Back to work for me. Thanks for the advice.
Okay, thanks for joining us. And yeehaw! So anyway, so right now we're having our bargain bonanza, and we've rounded up a heap of bargains. And if you want to put a garden together, and what's going to happen if you've just tuned in, you can catch all the bargains. As soon as we're finished, it goes up on YouTube, or you go here and you go there and we've got a page, a couple of pages that you can go through that's got all these specials on right now, and you can get free delivery over most of Victoria, or you can come down to the store, or you can order over the phone or order online. And here we've got an apricot, a dwarf berry apricot, reduced from $99.99 to $54.99. That's a beautiful frame tree. Look at the shape of that tree. Fabulous. And it's a Tilton apricot. and a dwarf tilted apricot. So if you want a dwarf apricot in your garden, $54.99, and the Tilton is a delightful, wonderful to eat apricot. Now here we have pomegranate, and this one here, I don't know how we say it. It's Molla de Leche.
Molla de Leche.
Molla de Leche.
Molla de Leche.
What does that mean?
Now, I think it's got something to do with creamy, because dulce de leche is a caramel that's made from cream.
Ah, right. So this must be a very sweet, tasty one from some foreign country. And at any rate, so there we have it. And these have been reduced from $99 to $44.99. And it really is hard to get a good cultivar of pomegranate. So $44.99, and you've got a beautiful pomegranate. And pomegranate would be one of the easiest fruits to grow, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really, really tough. So if you're nervous about being able to cope with a fruit tree, a pomegranate would be a good starting point.
Excellent. And I can confirm Delish is definitely all about milk. So,
Right.
yeah.
So here we have a sun gold dwarf pear. Now it's hard to get, a lot of pears grow into towering monsters. It's hard to get a nice small one. So this is a beautiful sun gold pear. It's only $69.99. No, it was $69.99. It's been reduced to $44.99. So it's only $44.99 for a sun gold pear. Now, do you love Japanese? That's your sun gold pear there. Looks terrific. Do you love Japanese maples? They're one of the most popular plants around. Now here's a really good sized Japanese maple. A really good sized Japanese maple, bare rooted, and these have the beautiful fine foliage. This one's going to have green leaves in spring and summer, and then red, orange, and yellow and gold, everything in the autumn. And this is only it's reduced from $29.99 to $11.99. So $11.99 for, and have a look here. I'm 6 foot. It's pretty much my height. So a 6 foot Japanese maple, bare rooted, for $11.99. Do you know this was just dug out of my mate's paddock yesterday?
Wow.
Dug them up yesterday. So nice and fresh out of the ground. If you plant them, if you come in and buy one this weekend, you can have it back in the ground in no time. Now here we've got Agave attenuata. Now agave, look, the beautiful. These are a fantastic plant. They're one of the. If you've got a beach house and you almost never go there, you just need something green and lush, or maybe you've got a penthouse up 30 stories in Melbourne, and everything gets blown to bits. These will grow. Agave can grow in the windiest, toughest, driest, meanest spot you can find, and these are really good value. So great for around the holiday house. These are reduced from $8.99 to $6.99. Look at the size of them. Look at that size that we've got there. Beautiful, beautiful big plant for only $6.99. I'll get one of these out so you can see it. But look at that. And you can put that in a pot, put it in the garden, put it down the beach house, whack them out the front of your factory. If you want something that's super duper low maintenance, these are fantastic, and they are $6.99.
That's some pretty good value for that size plant. Now, I apologise, I missed a comment from Jack Dickens when we were talking about the maples, and Jack has said, are the maples super slow to grow? Are they super slow to grow?
No, they're not. I think 2 or 3, your plain Japanese maple, 2 or 3 years, you'll get a beautiful small tree.
Excellent.
Now here we've got your asparagus foxtail fern. Now this is a really sought after, lush, beautiful plant, and we've got them here in 8-inch pots, and they're normally pretty hard to get. These are really nice little plants, and if you plant one of those, I reckon by January you'll have a nice big plant like this. And these asparagus foxtail ferns have been reduced from $24.99 to $19.99. So $19.99. We've rounded up a real bargain for you for our bargain bonanza. $19.99 asparagus foxtail ferns.
Whoa, watch out.
Now here we have your bird's nest fern, and these are beautiful specimens. Look at this. We've got bird's nest ferns in 5-inch pots. Look at that beautiful full plants. Look at that really luscious, beautiful bird's nest ferns. There we are. And these bird's nest ferns reduced from $15.99 to $12.99. So $12.99 beautiful birds. Now bird's nest ferns, grow them in a shady part of the garden, grow them as an indoor plant, grow them in the al fresco, just keep them out of the hot sun, and a little bit of fertilizer, plenty of water in the summer, very easy to grow, and always lush and green and give off that beautiful tropical feel. And these are only $12.99 for really big luscious plants.
Excellent.
Now here we have your Canary Island date palm. This is, if you've ever watched the Grand Prix down in Melbourne and they're racing around Albert Park Lake, they race past all these beautiful big palm trees, and that's them. And if you've got a farm, or maybe you've got a big backyard or a big front yard, and you want something grand, something stately, maybe a big mansion, you put two of them out the front, and if you give these plenty of water, they grow amazingly fast. They're an amazing tree. And they withstand the toughest conditions, but give them plenty of water and fertilizer, they grow really, really quickly. And these are the real date palms, and you start with these ones here, and these ones are reduced from $39.99 to $29.99. So $29.99 for a Canary Island date palm. Now, one of the most beautiful Australian native trees is your Moreton Bay fig. Your Moreton Bay fig grows very quickly into an enormous spreading tree, and this is a tree that if you had a good big block or a nice big backyard or something like that, and you wanted a tree that your whole extended family could sit under at Christmas time and have the whole extended family, tables and chairs out there under one tree, and maybe happen in as little as 15 or 20 years, this is it. Your Moreton Bay fig grows at an alarming speed, spreads out beautiful and wide, gives off the most beautiful luscious evergreen shade. So Moreton Bay fig, planting one of these on your country property or on your big block, it's kind of like really planting something for the future, planting something that will look great in 100 years or 80 years or 50 years. It's really making a statement or doing something for the future. So Moreton Bay fig, 16-inch pot, normally very hard to get. Very few nurseries would have any of these. These ones reduced from $249.99 to $199.99. Only 10 of them available, so there's 10 of these available if you want a Moreton Bay fig. Sakura
Blue 2 is on TikTok and has said they would look fabulous.
Yeah. Now here's something for everybody. These are standard ficus. This is your classic evergreen ball on a stick tree. Now you can grow these in a pot, grow them in the garden, grow them up the garden path, grow them up along the driveway, or put them along the front fence, and these will grow into a lovely big green ball very, very quickly. They'll be up there in no time, and a lot of nurseries have got it, and we had them here for $49.99, but now they're only $24.99, so $24.99. So you can get a half a dozen of these, which would do most pathways, half a dozen of these for $150, and really fabulous value. So standard ficus, $24.99. Fantastic value.
All right, so if you've just joined us, click the pinned comment at the top of the social chat, whichever platform you're on, or you can scan the QR code that's up next to Chris's head on the screen, and that will take you straight to our website, so you can start shopping for any of these bargains that Chris is talking about now. Our sale items are priced lower than anywhere else in the market, and stock is limited. So if you see a plant you love, don't wait. First in, first served.
That's right, and we're having a bargain bonanza. This is like a little trip out to the Wild West. We've lassoed fabulous bargains like these standard gardenias. Like standard gardenias are not only hard to get, but they can be damned expensive. Now these ones here, these are going to have the big white fragrant flowers in summer. You can grow these in a pot, grow them in the garden, plenty of water, plenty of fertilizer, sun or shade, really doesn't matter. But Magnifica, and the Magnifica has the really big white fragrant flowers. Anyway, these have been reduced from $69.99 to $49.99. So really nice standard gardenias, and only $49.99. Now here's a real rarity. This is a jacaranda bonsai blue. So your bonsai blue has a different leaf to the normal one, and it only grows 3.5–4 meters tall. So where jacarandas are famous for growing 18 or 20 meters tall, this one is only a 4.5 meter tree. Lovely luscious foliage, and the most gorgeous big blue flowers around Christmas time. And this one here, being sexually mature, this is guaranteed to flower. This has actually got a cut off flower bud. This flowered last summer, and it'll flower again this summer. So flowers this summer, Jacaranda Bonsai Blue, and we've reduced it from $349.99 to $199.99. So $199.99 for a bonsai blue.
Now, Chris, we've got Kalila on Facebook. Kalila's wondering, something is eating my passion fruit. The leaves are half disappeared because something's been munching on them. What could it possibly be?
I'd be looking at the bite marks. A lot of people in Melbourne get attacked by possums, and possums have very big bite marks.
Here we go.
Oh no, that looks like a snail. Oh, hang on now, Dan. That could actually be a possum. That's really savage. Now, my mum's secret was she would be out of it with a torch at night time, seeing what it is, and I'd be out there tonight with a torch, but about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and looking to see if there's any nasty looking bugs out there. But something pretty savage. It's either a beetle, a caterpillar, or a possum.
Okay, beautiful. Cameron Smith is on TikTok and has asked, can you tell people how big the trunks and roots get of the Ficus standards?
Okay, the Ficus standards, the trunks and roots grow to feed the top. So if you keep them neatly clipped, say you kept them a metre round, 10 years from now the trunk would be no thicker than 1.5 inches and the roots not very big at all. But if you let them get very big, the trunk will go correspondingly, the trunk and the roots will go correspondingly big. So here we have your Pinus Yatsabusa. Now your Pinus Yatsabusa is kind of a natural bonsai. It's something that you don't have to, there's a beautiful photo of it there. It has beautiful, and what it's famous for is having these white candles. The white candles are starting to come now. You can sort of see them coming now. And lovely dark green foliage. And what was interesting at the Flower and Garden Show this year, they were on every second stand. And now there's a shortage of them. They're really hard to get because I think that they've all of a sudden they've come into fashion. And this one here, beautiful tree. It'd be 4 or 5 years old, and it's been reduced from 269 down to 199. So 199. This is a real treasure, a real garden treasure. You can make a beautiful Japanese garden, you can make a beautiful bonsai out of this, a fabulous specimen in a modern garden. They were planting these at the Flower and Garden Show with things like your Banksia birthday candles, and you know, they were using it really in very sort of modern, smart landscape. So a beautiful little tree, and reduced from 269 to 199.
Very complimentary to the Banksia birthday candles, I think.
Now, in summertime, advanced falling snow sells for around about $400 in a big pot. Right now, this is fresh from the paddock. It was dug up yesterday, and this is a falling snow. It's going to have the beautiful white blossom, and it's been reduced from $229 to $110. That's nearly a quarter of the summer price in a big pot. So if you're after an advanced, and this is going to have beautiful white blossom in spring, if you're after an advanced weeping cherry, $110, and this is the sort of thing, if you're growing it from a little skinny one, it might take you years and years to achieve, but $110 for an advanced weeping cherry.
And that's a bare-rooted
cherry. Yeah, bare-rooted. Now, Melbourne people, I think the most favourite plant in Melbourne is English Box, and we've got some great deals coming up later on for English Box at our fabulous Bonanza sale. Yeehaw! But right now, we've got standard iceberg roses. Now, people have been charging 60 and 70 bucks each. We've got them for $16.99. These have got about a 65 centimetre stem on them, really good value, and $16.99. It's not going to last. We don't have that many of them, but $16.99. This is most nurserymen couldn't even buy them wholesale for this. So this is below the wholesale price. If I had to tell anybody how we got them at this price, I'd have to shoot them with the old 6-gun, because this is an incredibly low price. There's probably even a law against selling them this cheap. But $16.99 standard iceberg roses.
Now, Chris, in Leah's World is on TikTok and has said, one of my camellias, and just to preface this by saying they are well-established trees, one of my camellias has started to yellow and looks like it's dying, but the ones next to it are fine. Any suggestions?
What what camellias love is they love acidity. And in Bunnings, I've seen fine crushed pine bark. I reckon I'd put some Osmocote on it. I have a little dig and make sure it hasn't dried out, because we've had a bit of rain recently, but we've had the longest, driest period we've ever had. And I reckon I'd be checking the moisture, then I'd be top dressing with a beautiful fine crushed up pine bark and plenty of Osmocote, and I reckon you could pull it back.
All right, beautiful.
And they love. I mean, when you the camellia nurseries, whenever you pick up camellias from them, there's more Osmocote in the bottom of the pot than any other plant you buy. They're very heavy feeders.
I really like it. Good.
Now, if you've always wanted to make a display of bird of paradise, but you've been put off by the high prices of birds of paradise, here we've got them. These are really decent plants. Look at this lovely little plant here. And this plant here is going to set you back $6.99. So $6.99. Look at that beautiful little bird of paradise. Now, I sold a heap of them like this to a mate of mine, and he was growing them for cut flowers. At any rate, in 2 years, he had beautiful big plants, nearly as tall as him, covered in orange flowers, which he was selling to the florist. So these will only take 2 years to become fabulous specimens covered in flowers, and they're only $6.99. So if you've got a property that needs a bit of a mass planting of something exotic and exciting and tough, birds of paradise, $6.99 in 3-inch pots. Now, if you're after a beautiful, long-lasting border, I've got these fabulous birds of paradise. Not birds of paradise. These are Peter Pan Agapanthus, and they're reduced from $8.99 to $6.99. Now, what's interesting is I'm counting it here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 9 little plants in there. So this is capable of producing maybe 4 or 5 flowers this summer. And so really lovely plant. And we're doing them cheap. We're doing them for $6.99. So $6.99 for dwarf blue Agapanthus Peter Pan.
So it's in Leah's World is back on TikTok. It said great bargains. Thanks, Chris. Sakura Blue did say great price and so pretty in relation to the falling snow cherry.
Yeah, that was a great deal, that.
It is a great deal. Now, Raw Marrow, I've asked a question here. So Raw Marrow says, I have a lemon and lime tree planted next to each other or near each other. No lemons, but heaps of limes. And the limes have gone an orangish colour.
My lime's done that too. And I don't know why they do that.
I think, do you know what? I know here in Victoria, that they tend to go yellow, the limes,
Yeah,
but it doesn't
right.
affect the flavour at all.
No, that's what I found with mine. I thought my lime had turned into a lemon, but when I tasted it, it was actually a lime. But why would you have no fruit on your lemon?
Well, it could be maybe a potassium issue.
You know, Miracle Grow is something you can buy in a Bunnings or something like that, and Miracle Grow is high in potassium, and it's been designed to encourage things to flower and fruit. So it's not really a growth. It's not really designed for growth. It's designed so. With the lemon, I'd try some. I wouldn't worry about the yellowing of the fruit or the oranging of the fruit, but what I would do is I would use Miracle Grow regularly on my lemon, and if that doesn't stimulate anything I've ever used it on, it'll stimulate fruit and flowers.
Excellent.
Now here we've got a beautiful dwarf Agapanthus that has fabulous flowers and beautiful little sort of silver flowers, and it's called Silver Baby. Yeah, there we are. So Silver Baby, and these are beautiful bushy plants. You could divide them up if you're a bit sneaky. Silver Baby, and these are reduced from $18 to $12.99. Beautiful big plants for $12.99, and that's a real miniature silver white Agapanthus, $12.99, Silver Baby. So we're having a bargain bonanza. It's been a roundup of fabulous bargains like these ones here. Check this out. These are Dianella Dianella Breeze, and they've been reduced from an unknown price down to $8.99. So $8.99, and look at the size of them. So you could be that you're a landscaper and you need you need some blokes, you know, got you on a tight budget to fill up a garden. Maybe you're putting a house on the market and you need some real value for money. I don't think there'd be a bigger, better plant in Melbourne for $8.99 than these Dianella Breezes. Look at the size of that. Fantastic, unbelievable. $8.99.
Now, Chris, Royal Marrow has said they'll try the Miracle Grow. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
And I'm just going to take a second to let the fire truck go past. So Hayley is on TikTok and has said wasn't able to get there last Saturday, but she'll make it soon. I think Hayley might have had the pug last week.
All right.
Hayley, let us know if you're the lady with the pug. We were looking out for the pug on Saturday.
Yeah, right.
But she wants to get some help with their lettuce plants. They all died, and I think lettuce is one of those things you have to keep re-sowing.
Yes.
Yes, replanting. Yeah. So just come down and get some more lettuce seedlings.
Yeah, no worries. And here we've got Dianella Breeze or Compact Blue, Dianella Little Red or Compact Blue, and this is a smart little Dianella, and these have been reduced from $14.99 to $7.99. So that's for Australian native Dianella, that's a really good price, $7.99. So if you're a landscaper, a contractor, a builder or a developer, those last two Dianella deals are for you because that is a cheap way to fill up a development.
Now, Hack Hacker is back and has repeated the question. We have a lot, so Hack Hacker must have missed the answer. We have a lot of scraps at the bakery. Would sourdough or dill dough make good compost? Yes.
I think sourdough. I'm not sure about the dildo in the compost.
Oh, dildos. Hack Hacker, you got me. You got me good.
Right, so there we got the Beyond Blue, Festuca Beyond Blue. Now, I think that this, if you're after a blue fescue, this is the one for you. This is the bluest of blue fescues. Really, really lovely. And if you wanted to mass plant them, maybe do a border, do a mass planting. The Beyond Blue, normally $6.99, now $3.99. That's an almost criminally cheap price. I've heard of nurserymen being hung for selling them cheaper than that. Yeah. So $3.99 for Beyond Blue, and they're beautiful big plants. I'll just show you one there. Amazing deal for $3.99. If you were doubting whether this was a true bargain bonanza, you can be certain when you look at these for $3.99. Imagine the landscape impact you could make for just a few dollars with Festuca Beyond Blue 3-inch pot for $3.99.
Chris, Lisa OG1's on TikTok and said, "I want that horse statue, lol."
Yes, that's my bargain bonanza steed.
And I note that the next plant on the sale is very theme appropriate. El Marco.
Yeah, so what we've got is Liriope El Marco, and normally in the Wild West you're paying $14.99 for these. And what this is like a type of mondo grass. Have a good look at it. It's like a mondo grass, but much tougher. Sun, shade, and it never flowers. It's just all green, all lush. I get people in asking me for low maintenance, never have to trim borders, and I go for El Marco. Sun, shade, doesn't matter, really, really tough, incredible plant, reduced from $14.99 to $10.99. So $10.99, beautiful big plants, $10.99. This is definitely a bargain bonanza. We've rounded up a heap of bargains. Now here
I was going to say Hack Hacker has said, "Old Cobber knows it all." This is true. And he also apologises. "Sorry, I had to slip my Indian humour on the wordplay." You got me
no
good.
No worries. Cool. You gotcha. Okay, so here we've got Liriope, a purple flowering Liriope, and a beautiful big strong plants. 8-inch pot reduced from $29.99 to $19.99. So beautiful big Liriope. You might be landscaping a place. Maybe you're putting a house on the market this spring, and you need something big and gutsy and nice and cheap. These are $19.99 for nice big 8-inch Liriope.
Now Hack Hacker's back on TikTok and has asked, do the Liriopes get root rot?
No.
No.
No, and I found them to be quite wet feet tolerant.
So in Queensland they should be quite okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Now here we've got Formium and a Red reduced from $14.99, and these would be cheap. If you went down to your local store, you saw these for $14.99, you'd be wrapped. But they're not going to be $14.99. They're $8.99. So $8.99, beautiful big red facts. And this is the sort of thing, if you're putting a property on the market this spring, or maybe you're a property developer, maybe you're a landscaper, and you've got a client that's giving you a big job on a tight budget, come down here. You've got those really big diameter. Actually, this, I'll just show you this. If you were to put, if I was putting a house on the market, or I was a developer or something like that, I'd be looking at something like that. These ones here are $8.99 and these ones here are $8.99. So look at that there, and you could mix these together and you could have a place looking good. Might get you an extra $100,000 for your property when you put it on the market, just buying a good load of these ones here at $8.99. So purple flaxes and green dianellas, fantastic value. Really good for the person with that sort of project that's a bit of a bargain, So Anna Red, Formium or New Zealand flax, $8.99.
So Hacker said thanks very much for the advice, Chris. Now Hayley with the pug, and it is Hayley with the pug, so we look forward to seeing Hayley with the pug down here soon. What is a good indoor plant for a bathroom with no natural light at all?
I reckon spider grass.
Yeah, okay.
Spider grass. And what you could do is you could get 2 spider grasses.
Right behind you?
You get 2 spider grasses. This is spider grass here. You could get 2 spider grass. Now you get 2 of these spider grasses. Get a nice big bushy ones, but you get 2 spider grasses and rotate them to a lighter spot. So you might have another good spot with a bit more light in it. And if you were to rotate them once a week, you could have a spider grass or some other hardy plant. Aspidistra would be another one for the bathroom. But if you rotated them into a spot with more light, they'd last forever.
Yeah, very good.
So on rotation, you're going to get away with it. Okay, so now what we've got is that we've got Society Garlic. Now, I love this Society Garlic, and it's not just any old, this is the variegated Society Garlic. This is my favourite Society Garlic, and what it has is that you see this beautiful purple flower here, and it has that for 5 or 6, it has lots of those for 5 or 6 months of the year, but when it hasn't got those, look at that beautiful foliage. Now, I get the odd person coming in and they want to have a hedge, a little hedge or border, and what they want is that they don't want to ever have to trim it. Well, I reckon 1 trim a year just to get rid of the dead flowers, and these are virtually a maintenance-free, fabulous border that's really, really hardy. They'll take wet feet, they'll take heat, they'll take drought. I see them a lot up in Shepparton. The council's planted them in the middle of roundabouts with no irrigation, and they absolutely thrive in the hot, dry conditions in Shepparton with no irrigation. Now we've got them here. Now they're normally an expensive, hard to get thing. We've got 6-inch pots for $6.99. So $6 6-inch pots for $6.99, and that's variegated Society Garlic.
So Chris, we've got Steffa Nene on Facebook. Says, I have a very long south-southwest side garden that is heavily shaded in winter, but gets hot afternoon sun in the summer. There is nothing but gravel there at the moment, and the area is roughly 4 meters wide, 16 meters long, and she is lost as to what would be suitable to grow there. They also have slightly acidic clay soil, but appears fairly well draining. Could she please have some suggestions? Yeah,
do you know, a Chinese star jasmine ground cover would work really, really well there, but that's a big area, and it probably needs a sort of a combination planting. And my off the top is come in and do a free garden design.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
But certainly have a look at Chinese star jasmine, and that's my first thought, because it would cover that area and it'll take that blast of hot afternoon sun, and it'll take those long periods of deep shade. But I could come up with another half a dozen plants, and looking some photos of the situation, bring in some measurements and things like that, and you can get that sorted. And that's what lots of people do. They come in and they get areas sorted out. And what I do is I really work at I believe that everybody knows what they want, but they often don't know how to express it. They don't know which plant to plant, but they know how they want it to look. So what we do is we put up pictures of all the different plants, and people end up really designing it themselves with a bit of help from me, because people know what they want.
And so if people want to book a garden design session, they can head to our website. We have a garden design page, and you can read all about how to go about it. We offer 20-minute sessions and 45-minute sessions.
Yeah, and a small deposit which comes off when you buy your plants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now what we've got here is, now what's interesting is that buy these now because you won't be able to buy them later. This is Arenaria mountain sandwort. Now the great thing about your Arenaria mountain sandwort is that it gets covered in white flowers, beautiful white flowers, absolutely covered in beautiful white flowers. And it's got, and that's the first flower coming now. These, I reckon, give them 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be covered in flowers, and they're going to flower through till about the end of October. And they're so fresh and nice to have in the garden. Beautiful green foliage and fabulous white flowers. So Arenaria mountain sandwort reduced from $14.99 to $8.99. So $8.99 for Arenaria mountain sandwort. Now here we have Cousin It, and Cousin It is a beautiful plant, and these are the biggest, best Cousin Its I've ever seen. Now Cousin It is a fabulous plant that can hang over a wall, it can cover a big area, it'll grow under trees. It's one of the most versatile. I think the two in my garden designs, one of the main plants I use is Chinese Star Jasmine, and probably the second main plant I use is this one here. It doesn't have amazing flowers or anything like that, but it has this amazing way of just covering the ground. Beautiful plant, and here it is just covering a wall here. That was a video we did recently where it's covering over a wall. So there it is. It's called Cousin It. It's actually a very hardy tree. Grows, as I said before, it'll grow under a tree as a ground cover. It'll cover a whole big area. It'll cascade over rocks, hang over an embankment, or hang over a wall, as you see in these pictures here. And your Cousin It is reduced. These are advanced plants. We do have cheap ones in these, but these are beautiful advanced plants that will make an immediate impact on the garden. Reduced from $69.99 to $39.99. Beautiful big plants for $39.90. The best ones you'll find anywhere in Melbourne. This really is a bargain bonanza. Yeehaw!
So those Cousin Its, they are a type of Casuarina, which is a tree, but that's a ground cover.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it was cascade.
Yeah, but they have the strength of a tree.
Yep,
but they grow flat. Now here we have yellow buttons. Now yellow buttons is another plant that I use all the time in my garden designs, and what I love about it is it's got beautiful silvery foliage. You've got beautiful silvery foliage, and once it matures a little bit, the yellow buttons pop up on it, and it flowers every day of the year. So lovely silver foliage and flowering every day of the year. It's a great plant. I often mix it up with those Cousin Its, because it contrasts nicely with the Cousin Its. The little yellow buttons look good against the Cousin Its. But this is tough. It'll cover a big area, and these are reduced from $14.99 to $5.99. So $5.99, a really great value, and that's an Australian native as well. So here we've got blue convolvulus. Now blue convolvulus is one of my favourite. There it is there. Now what I love about blue convolvulus is it starts flowering in the mid of September and knocks off in the mid of May. So I don't know how long it is, 5 or 6 months. And so beautiful long flowering plant, hardy, and it'll cover a big area. It'll fall down 1 metre or 2 over an embankment. You can grow it on a slope. And where I particularly love it is I think that it's the best plant to plant under iceberg roses. Somehow when you get that beautiful white and then you get that lovely blue underneath, it's fabulous. So I love blue convolvulus under my iceberg roses, and they're not expensive. These are reduced from $9.99 to $5.99. So $5.99 for blue convolvulus.
Chris, we're going to have to give a shout out to Tracy, who's on TikTok and has said to everyone, don't forget to like and share the live. Let's get them a big audience. Great.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like and share. There's only one bargain bonanza happening at this time. So like it and share it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
JR22 has asked any Japanese boxes.
I think we would put one on for him.
We probably could put some on for JR22.
Yeah, so what we can do 3-inch pot Japanese box for $3.99.
I'll write that down.
What's that? Yeah, and we've got 8-inch Japanese box. 8-inch Japanese box for $16.99. So $16.99, and they're big. They're about 50 centimeters tall. If you want to grow a nice big box, Japanese box hedge, I plant 3 or 4 Japanese box to the meter, but a nice big Japanese box hedge, jump in now and get into it.
Thank you.
Now here we've got one of the best in Melbourne. This would be the hardiest and best of all your gardenias. It's called Gardenia Radicans. It seems to be much hardier, and it's a low ground covering gardenia. Beautiful little white flowers, lots of them, and beautifully fragrant. So lots of white fragrant flowers. Beautiful low ground cover gardenia, and it's a Gardenia Radicans 6-inch pot, $10.99. So $10.99. Look at lovely big healthy plant you get for $10.99. You can't go wrong for $10.99. Now here we've got a lovely native, and this is I think it's our 3rd native up today. And this one here is called Carpet Queen, and it's a beautiful golden one. No, it's what's going to be Gin Gin Gem? What's happened? Oh, here we are.
Gin Gin Gem.
It's Gin Gin Gem. Gin Gin Gem. It's a beautiful little red. Now this is a hardy ground cover grevillea. Really, really tough. Covers a nice big area. One of these will cover a square meter in no time. So your Gin Gin Gem is reduced from $16.99 to $10.99. It's a funny thing, but a lot of natives are a bit more expensive than your exotics, but that's $10.99 puts it right in the cheap range. So $10.99 for Gin Gin Gem.
Pretty good plants for pretty good sized plants for that price as well. Now, Chris, Khan has joined us on TikTok and has asked, where is this?
We're in Melbourne, and we're sort of out near the Tullamarine Airport. We're about 5 minutes from the airport. We're on Sydney Road, which is the old highway to Sydney, but there's a new freeway that people go up now, so we're on the old highway to Sydney, near Super Amart out there, you know, and this is really the trade centre of Melbourne, because trade centre of Victoria, because people come in from Ballarat, they come in from Bendigo. We're right in the centre of all the highways that come in and out of Melbourne, but the thing is, you can buy online from us and you can get free delivery over most of Victoria.
Yep.
And we do deliver over all of Victoria. So anyone in Victoria can get any of these bargains, and they can ring up or they can order online and organise any of these bargains. And the thing is, there's 100 bargains. You just got to go here, and there's a page with 100 bargains on there, and all the bargains are live right now.
So now if people spend over $300, they'll get that free delivery, and the following areas are covered by that free delivery, and that's Greater Melbourne, including Geelong, Bendigo, Ballarat, Shepparton, and all the way out to Traralgon.
Yep.
So we don't miss our friends in South
down to the surf coast as well too. So now here we've got one of my favourite ground covers. This is called Myoporum Fine Leaf. Now one of these will cover a square metre, or if you're in a hurry, you plant 2 of them to square metre, but they get beautiful fine lush green foliage. They have lovely white flowers and heavenly fragrance, so really beautiful fragrance. Myoporum Fine Leaf, and we're talking $6.99, so $6.99 for Myoporum Fine Leaf. Now here we've got dwarf mondo grass, 6-inch pot. Now what's interesting is that there's about 50 little mondo grass. Have a close look at this. About 50 little mondo grasses in every one of these plants. What a person could do, if you're a bit of a bargain hunter, you could get these and you could tear them apart, and you could make 8 or 9 dwarf mondos. So say you had a big area, like a lot of people get big areas of paving and they put the little mondo grasses between the pavers. Well, a cunning person, instead of buying 3-inch pots, like you get these, tear them apart, you could tear each one of these into 8 or 9 pieces. Now at say you trimmed it, say you pulled it up into 9 pieces, and you paid $12.99 for this dwarf mondo grass, cut into 9 pieces, that would cost you $1.50 for a mondo grass. Now you try and buy mondo grass anywhere for $1.50, I don't think you can do it. So $1.50 for mondo grass, or $12.99 for these beautiful full pots. They're absolutely chock-a-block with mondo grass. So if you want mondo grass cheap, these big potfuls are the way to go. Now Pratia is this beautiful moss-like ground cover, that is covered in white flowers for about 8 months of the year. Beautiful, well, you can see it there, and it's lovely fine foliage. You can grow it between your pavers, grow it as a carpet, grow it as a lawn, grow it as a little sort of feature plant, grow it in a pot even and have it cascading over the side of your pot, or just pop it here and there in your cottage garden. So white Parthenocissus, gorgeous little plant, and they can be quite expensive in some places. These are reduced from $8.99 to $5.99. So $5.99 for white Parthenocissus. Now here we've got a salvia, and it's called Reddy Bright Red, and it really is bright red, and it flowers for most of the year. This is a lovely little dwarf salvia. Have a look at that. And now you could grow this in a pot out on the deck, or you could grow it in your cottage garden, or you could plant a little border with it. So salvia Reddy Red, and these are reduced from $12.99 to $8.99. So $8.99 for salvia Reddy Red. Now, these are beautiful. Look at this, green and white. These are called saxifragas. Now, look what a beautiful plant. You can grow this in a pot, pop it in the cottage garden, grow it as a border, and it's called saxifraga. Saxifraga, and these are going to flower for the next 3 months. So 3 months, gorgeous green foliage, and we've got all different ones to offer, and these have been reduced in price. Let's have a look. What are they there? Reduced in price to $7.99. So $7.99, and that is your lime green. So it's just a little bit off white. Your lime green saxifraga.
And that's an alpine plant, isn't it?
What's that?
It's an alpine plant. So
Yeah,
if anyone is tuning in from the alpine areas, these saxifragas are very good for...
Now this one here could be my favourite. This is called Picotee. Now have a look at this. This is a little multicoloured one. Have a look at that. Picotee. Picotee. So, and again, $7.99. You can order those, pop those in your cottage garden, grow them in a pot. If you need a bit of winter colour, saxifraga could be the answer for you.
Chris, we're going to have to make a shout out to Parama99466, who said, has joined us on Instagram and said, hello is the best in business. We bought emerald green, total 12. Thanks for the recommendation.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. Great to get that feedback. So here we've got Saxifraga Pink. Now look at that beautiful soft pink. Fabulous. Now, it wouldn't be a mistake for you guys to give yourself a Saxifraga collection. We've got 4 different varieties, and you can buy the whole collection for under $30. So there we are. So Saxifraga Pink, and now we've got Saxifraga Red Scarlet. Beautiful rich red. Not many flowers on them yet. They're just, the saxifragas have only just started flowering this week, but here you can catch a glimpse of this lovely rich red saxifraga. And if I was you guys and you fell in love with these beautiful saxifragas, treat yourself to a collection. Only $7.99 each. We've got 4 different colours. Beautiful. Now what's this? This pure white. Wow, these are gorgeous. I don't know which one's my favourite. So here we've got a beautiful white saxifraga. Look at that, lovely. There's nothing like green and white, is there? Let's grab one of each of all 4 and just let people compare them so that they can work out which one they like the best. Is it all 4 or all 5?
4.
All 5. Someone can help me hold them here, and we'll show them all. Let's show them all together. There's the whole collection actually. So it's a collection of 5 at $8 each would be $40. $39.99 you'd have the whole collection. But look at that, you've got pink, you've got white, you've got lime, you've got red, you've got Picotee. So all of those different ones there. Have a look there. Look at that. Do the whole collection for $39.99. So there we are. Saxifragas, great for winter colour. So this really is a bargain bonanza.
Chris, Diana has joined us on TikTok and has asked, where's Murray?
Murray.
I don't know where Murray is, but I think they might be asking where Mari is.
Yeah, I think it might be Murray. Murray's retired and she's taking it easy these days. Not in the show anymore. So here we are. This is what is it? It's lime lava, and we've got these 8-inch pots here for 8-inch pot lime lava for $14.99. So great big lime lava for $14.99, and that'll grow into this fabulous big thing like this. Have a look at that there. Look at that. Yeah, and you can grow them in the garden. You can grow them in a pot. They love the sun. They love water, and they love fertilizer. So there we are, and
$14.99.
$14.99 for an 8-inch pot lime lava. Now here we've got the chalk stick. Now the chalk stick, very fashionable and great for like say a factory or a commercial landscape. Just want a super duper low maintenance, never care about it, no water. Or maybe in a modern style garden, maybe you've got a very modern house, you want to do a modern garden. I often use the big Gymea lilies and then plant these around the base for a bit of contrast. And so, and these are great value. They're Senecchio, they're reduced from $6.99 to $3.99. So $3.99. So if you want to do a big ground cover of chalk sticks at $3.99, you can't go wrong.
So Diana's back and she said, hello, it's Chris and Murray. I'm getting flashbacks, lol. Lee is on TikTok and has asked, what's a good evergreen plant with to deal with harsh afternoon sun, suitable for pots?
I reckon you couldn't go wrong with what we call our snow pearl.
Yes, the snow pearl.
The snow pearl. The snow
That's a
pearl.
beauty.
It's an Indian hawthorn, grows into a lovely round ball, has fabulous white flowers, dark green foliage, fabulous plant, and great in the garden, great in a pot, and great for dealing with hot afternoon sun.
Fantastic.
Now here we have our 4-inch pot Zoysia No Mow Grass, and it's reduced from $8.99 to $5.99. It's sometimes called temple grass, and it grows into a beautiful bumpy formation like you see here. You can grow it around pavers or just grow a whole lawn of it. Fabulous plant. Zoysia No Mow Grass, $5.99. So $5.99 for the No Mow Grass. Now here we've got our sublime lily pilly. Fire screen lily pilly, reduced from $32.99 to $16.99. So $16.99, beautiful big plants, fire screens for $16.99 from $32.99. This is a tough lily pilly. The beetles don't eat it, the psyllids don't eat it, I don't eat it, nobody eats it. So here it is. If you want a hassle-free, super tough, frost-hardy lily pilly, this is it. It's Acmina Fire Screen Lily Pilly, $16.99. They're a metre tall, great value.
That is amazing value.
Now, one of the most sought after lily pillies, and the reason why this is so sought after is that some people don't like the red tips that some lily pillies get on them, and this one doesn't. This has a lime green tip, a beautiful lime green tip like what you're seeing here, and it's a thick bushy one. It's very, very tough. The bugs don't eat it. It's really super duper tough and super duper green. And very, very popular, you know, as a very, very sought after, and it can be quite expensive and quite hard to get. These have been reduced from $39.99 to $19.99. That's half the normal price for $19.99. Sublime lily pilly, one of the most sought after lily pillies. Now look at this beautiful silver birch with a white trunk. No waiting forever for that white trunk. This one here's got a white trunk right now, and it's about 5 metres tall. Now you'd expect to pay about $400 for something like this, but we've got this one here for reduced to $219.99, from $399 to $219.99. Now this is a fabulous thing. This is a silver birch, and it's a 1-year-old seedling, and it could grow as big as that beautiful white one that we just saw in 2 years. So it would only take 2 years to grow like that. So it's a 1-year-old seedling. Now if you wanted to grow say 3 birches in a clump, or you want to grow an avenue of birches, and you don't want to pay that 50 or 60 bucks that they charge for big birches, you know, for medium-sized birches down at your local store, these ones here, 3 foot tall, bare rooted, and they're reduced to $9.99. So $9.99 for a bare rooted silver birch. So $9.99 for a bare rooted silver birch. Fabulous value. And buy a clump. If you want to do an avenue of birches, that's the way to go. So what we've got here is your With Love. Now this is the new type of camellia. If you want to grow a nice skinny hedge, maybe you've got a little skinny garden bed up the side of the house or up the side of the driveway, this will grow in hot sun or shade. If you've got a little skinny garden bed and you want a beautiful flowering Sasanqua camellia, this is it. This is your skinny one. It's called, they're called upright and slender variety. They're from Paradise, and it's With Love, beautiful double pink flower, and these ones here are With Love, reduced from $29.99 to $22.99. So a really sought after special one. They're 50 centimeters tall and $22.99. Now here's an amazing deal. This is your Caswell Gold cypress. That's your fast growing hybrid cypress, and this one here will grow really big, really quick, and beautiful golden foliage on it. That's a big hedge of it there. At any rate, these ones here reduced from $8.99 to $5.99. So $5.99 for nice big Caswell Golds. Great start. Put these on your country property. Put them around your holiday house. Stick them out the back to screen out the neighbours at only $5.99. So here we've got Glauca pencil pines, reduced from $17.99 to $10.99. These are fantastic value for $10.99. So $10.99 for Glauca pencil pines. Now these grow quick. I reckon if you planted these properly, you watered them and fertilised them for the next 12 months, in 12 months time these would be as tall as me. They'd look good as an avenue up the farm fence, you know, put them along, block out the neighbours, use them as a screen. Very, very versatile plant. Grow them in a pot. In 12 months these could be as tall as me, and they're only $10.99. Now here we've got something really special. This one here, the reason why a lot of people talk about ficus having terrible root system is ficus can be a very, very large tree, and big trees have big roots. But here we've got a ficus co. This one comes from Thailand, comes from Vietnam, and it's a small growing ficus. It naturally only grows about 4 meters tall and doesn't have anywhere near as aggressive root system. It has lovely fine foliage, and I found it's beautiful to trim and shape into a hedge or a topiary, grow it in a pot. It's a beautiful small ficus that really doesn't give you the terrible root problems that other ones give you, with dense, fine, beautiful foliage. Ficus Co. 6-inch pot, reduced from $14.99 to $12.99, and also very good in coastal situations, windy situations. A really hardy, versatile plant. Comes out of Vietnam, and $12.99. Now, I call this box leaf privet. I also call it a property transformer. And what it is, if you plant these and you plant them, say you plant 3 or 4 of these to the metre, you can grow a 1 metre hedge in 1 year and a 2 metre hedge in 2 years. So with very little money, these are $1.99 each. Beautiful little plants. Have a look at what a wonderful little plant this is. Beautiful little plants, ready to transform your property. 1 metre in a year, 2 metres in 2 years, $1.99. Plant 3 or 4 to the metre and grow yourself a beautiful box style hedge or a beautiful tall box style screen for $1.99. Box leaf privet, the power to transform your property. And they grow in a wide range of soils. Take frost, take heat, take drought. Fabulous plants. Now what we've got here is one of my favourite magnolias. This one here is called Fairy White Magnolia, and these have been reduced from $29.99 to $18.99. So $18.99 the fairy white magnolia. They've got buds on it. They get beautiful big white fragrant flowers in springtime. Those fabulous big white. This really is your bargain bonanza. We've rounded up some real bargains. Like these ones here, this size here, you'd expect to pay $50 for them. And these ones here are going out for $18.99 for fairy white magnolias. You can't go wrong. Now sometimes people tell me they want some fragrance in their garden and they want to know what the best fragrant plant is for Melbourne. And you know what I say? I don't say Daphne. I say orange jessamine. And the reason why I say orange jessamine is the fragrance is heavenly. It's absolutely beautiful. But the real reason why I say orange jessamine, it's tough, it's easy to grow. You can grow this anywhere. It's not particularly expensive to buy. But the thing with this is they start flowering when the warm nights start. So you'll get your first warm nights in Melbourne in late September, early October, and these will start, they've got buds on them now, they'll start to flower. And then they start flowering and you've got this beautiful fragrance, and then as you go, they'll go right through to when the warm nights stop, which will be in April or maybe the beginning of May. You'll stop getting warm nights and these will stop flowering. And so you've got beautiful fragrance from early October, late September, right into early May. And that's much longer than any other fragrant plant that I know of. So beautiful fragrance for a real long time. Now great for a hedge, grow it as a specimen, grow it in a pot, very, very versatile plant. It's one I use all the time. And these ones here, 10-inch pot, normally $59.99. These have been reduced to $49.99. So $49.99, they're 3 foot tall, fabulous value at $49.99. Orange jessamine. So here we've got a Photinia with a difference. Normal Photinia is known for being red. This one's called pink marble because what it is, it's green and white, and then when it grows, you get a bit of pink in it. So it's sort of, you can look at this bit of pink here. So, but what people love about Photinias is Photinias are very, very tough. Photinias, if you've got frost, heat, wind, drought, poor soil, clay, or whatever, Photinias are the toughest thing around. And this pink marble, although it's got pink in it, although it's really cute looking, it's just as tough as any other Photinia. And these ones have been reduced from $29.99 to $19.99. Great value. Pink marble Photinia, $19.99. Now here we've got the Photinia Red Robin. Beautiful big plants. I'm 6 foot. These are 5 foot. Red Robin Photinias, 8-inch pot, reduced from $29.99 to $19.99. So $19.99 for Red Robins in an 8-inch pot. Now, if you're doing up a property, say you've got a big flash property and you're doing it up and you're putting it on the market this spring, this would be a great thing to do. This is going to be covered in white blossom in September. So covered in beautiful white blossom in September, lovely green foliage in October, and it's about 3.5 meters tall, beautiful sturdy advanced tree. This would make a property, like plant this now, and in springtime this will make your property look very, very classy and very, very established. It's a capital pair, and it's reduced from $3.99 down to $219.99. So $219.99, white blossom in September when you're selling your place, or green leaves in October. So there it is. Make your place look established for $219.99. Willow, it says willow is the next thing. Willow bare rooted, let's do that. Now here we have a weeping willow, and it just shows the value of bare root. This weeping willow here is reduced from $99.99 to $42.99. Now weeping willows have been a bit hard to get the last few years, and if I was planting this one, I'd plant it in about 2 foot deep, keep the grass and weeds away from the bottom, and you'll have a fabulous weeping willow in only 2 years. Loves a bit of summer water. It's great to plant it in a spot where its roots might have access to a bit of water. You wouldn't put this in a little suburban garden, a bit too aggressive. But anyway, this weeping willow here is only $42.99. So $42.99, it's 2.5 meters tall, $42.99, beautiful weeping willow. And you could establish that and have a beautiful weeping willow in no time at all.
So Chris, we've got Ron13 who has tuned into TikTok, who said, hi, support from the Philippines.
Wow, thank you very much. Wonderful. Welcome to our bargain bonanza. Yeehaw sale. So there we are. So anyway, so now what we've got here is a lot of people have been put off about cypress trees because there's a little bit of disease around the cypress trees. This gives you the cypress look, but it's not a cypress, it's a thuya. So this is a thuya, gives you the cypress look, but it ain't a cypress, and it has beautiful green foliage, fabulous fragrance, and it is reduced from $14.99 to $6.99. So $14.99 to $6.99. Now, if you want colour in your garden, here we've got the Abelia Kaleidoscope, reduced from $17.99 to $12.99. Now, this will give you what's good. Nothing flowers all year, but this one here gives you lovely bright colour every day of the year. It has white flowers in spring, but it has yellows and oranges and all beautiful colours in it. And you can clip it into a ball, grow it as a little hedge, grow it as a specimen, just let it grow natural. A beautiful small to medium sized shrub, and only $12.99, Abelia Kaleidoscope.
Now we're well and truly into the shrubs, the shrubs and borders section of the sale today. And if you've just joined us, don't worry, you won't miss out on anything. The live stream will be replayed on YouTube, or be available for replay on YouTube as soon as we've finished the live stream today. But if you wanted to pick up any of the bargains that Chris is talking about here, if you click the QR code that's up on the screen, or you click the pinned post on any of the social chats on any of our platforms, then that will take you straight through to our sales page, where you can find all of these bargains listed for sale.
Yeah, now what we have here is one of the hardest to get plants around the place. This is Banksia birthday candles, and these are beautiful big established plants. Have a look at this plant here, beautiful plant. Birthday candles, now that has those beautiful, now this is a low growing, this is one of my favourite features in native gardens, because it's not a big thing, it's just, grows a metre or so wide and 50-60 centimetres tall, covered in those beautiful orange flowers. And this year's flower and garden show, these were everywhere, they were on every other stand. The most popular plant at the show, covered in those beautiful orange Banksia flowers. But this is a fabulous indoor plant, particularly for the modern native garden, where you're wanting things that are not too big but they put on a real show. And this flowers for a real lot of the year. Banksia birthday candles, probably the hardest plant to get around the place. We've managed to sneak a few of them in, and they're not paying $59.99, $46.99 for $46.99. Fabulous value, beautiful plant to get hold of. I use them quite sparingly. When I do a native garden, I'll only use 2 or 3 of them in a native garden, or sometimes only 1. So it's not a plant that you need a lot of to make a big impact. 1 or 2 or 3 of these in your garden will make an enormous impact. Now this is my favourite Berberis. Now it's just, unfortunately they've lost their leaves, but now's the time to buy. This will burst away in spring and give you a beautiful colour straight away, beautiful pink in spring. But look at the pink, it's called Rosy Glow, and it's a beautiful, has pink autumn colour, pink flowers in spring, very, very colourful small shrub. Trim it into a round ball, grow it as a hedge, grow it as a border. Very, very tough, indestructibly tough. And this one here, Rosy Glow, 8-inch pot, reduced from $34.99 to $19.99. So $19.99 for your Rosy Glow.
Now Chris, we've got Raw Marrow back on TikTok, and Raw Marrow has said whoever is speaking and moderating the comments is doing a fantastic job.
Wow.
I'm blushing. Thank you very much. And then Raw Marrow said, Chris is doing a great job also.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, you are a wonderful assistant. Thank you. So what we've got here is it's English box time. And what we've got is we've got big bushy 8-inch box, or we'll work our way down. I'm not sure whether to go up or down with English box.
We'll start with the little ones, go up to the big bangers.
Okay, so what we've got is we've got beautiful, my daughter grows these ones here, and these are beautiful little English box, and these are $1.99. And we grew these specially because we wanted to, English box were gradually getting dearer and dearer and dearer. These ones here, 2 years you'll grow a beautiful little hedge with these. They're really healthy, lovely little plants. Actually, I'll show you the roots on these. They're very nice. Have a look at that. Look at that great little root system there. It's a great roots on it. Look at that. Ready to romp in your garden. So there we are. English box, $1.99. Then the star of the show today is at some nurseries, your 6-inch pot English box is costing you in some nurseries it's costing you $12 or $14. We'll knock off $10. These are $4.99. So $4.99 for your 6-inch pot English box. Again, lovely healthy plants. Great little root system on them. Really lovely. Look at the roots on that. Look at the health of that plant there. You can't go wrong at $4.99. Now the thing is though, it ain't gonna last. What it is that June can be a bit of a lean month in the industry, and the grower of these isn't making any money selling these at, you know, at $4.99. But what he said just for the rest of this month. He said just for the rest of this month you'll have, because he knows that in spring you'll get a lot more money for them than that. But I guess he was keen to maybe, you know, pay the rent or pay his workers. So he's letting a few thousand of them go for $4.99, and there you are. So English box for $4.99. And that's kind of like taking you back to the old days of the Wild West when you could buy English box for $4.99, and it's only for the rest of June that you'll be able to buy these English box. So if you need, now I plant 5 of the meter, so 5 to the meter. So if you needed 20 meters of hedge, you'd need 100 of these, and at $4.99, these will only take 12 months to make a beautiful little English box hedge. So a really, really, really good deal, but you've got to snap it up because it ain't going to last.
And I think fair to say you're going to need quite a few of them if you're going to put your hedge in, so best get in quick if there's only 1,000.
Well, that's why the price of English box is more important than the price of anything else, because normally people, when we work it out, we find they need 50 or they need 60, some people need 200 of them. And so it's the price of the English box is terribly, terribly important in terms of doing your garden. And then we've got lovely big 8-inch pots, and these 8-inch pots here, 8-inch pots are reduced from $19.99 to $14.99. So have a look at that beautiful big, grow yourself an instant English box hedge. Plant 5 of these to the metre at $14.99. Maybe you're putting a place on the market in spring. These are the English box to buy. $14.99 if you need a mature English box.
And now we had some discussion about Japanese box earlier.
So here we are. We've got Japanese box on special. And look at them, they're 1/2 metre tall, really decent plant. Now if you want a box with a different coloured leaf, if you want an extra tough English box, if you want a fast English box, if you want a big box, it's Japanese box. Japanese box is the one. And these Japanese box 8-inch pots reduced from $19.99 to $16.99. So $16.99 for 8-inch pot Japanese box.
Now JR22, I hope you're still on TikTok watching us, because those Japanese box look fantastic and I think they're just what you're after.
So here we've got, I can't even say it, Geraldton wax, and it's a raspberry Geraldton. So if you love Geraldton wax and you love that raspberry colour, look at the colour of this label here. Beautiful plant, raspberry. So raspberry ripple, I feel hungry just talking about it. Raspberry ripple, Geraldton wax, beautiful plant. And these are, and what's good, they're covered in buds. The buds are swelling, and they're going to be flowering. I'd say they're probably by next week they'll be flowering. And these are raspberry ripple reduced from $16.99 to $12.99. So $12.99 for your raspberry ripple.
Now Chris, if people that are watching us on the live stream want to shop in person, you're always welcome. You can visit us at 1477 Sydney Road, Campbellfield. We're open daily from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
And you know, I work here all through the weekend, so you can pop in and say, "G'day, Chris. Howdy, mate."
Chris practically sleeps here, I reckon.
Yeah. So I'm here all this weekend, and come down and see me. Now here we've got, this has been the hardest plant to get around Melbourne. This is called your Coprosma Pacific Sunset, and lots of times I'll use these where people have got, you know, a big area of lawn and they want to have a bit of hedge in front of their lawn, and this is a great contrast. And it gives you a year-round colour. It's one of your great year-round colour plants, and I say it's as tough as a cactus. It's as tough as any cactus out in the desert. It's really, really tough, easy to grow, and a great source for year-round colour. Coprosma Pacific Sunset, and these ones have been reduced to $29 from $32.99 to $29.99. So $29.99, and I don't think any other nurseries. We've got 800 of them, but no other nurseries have got any of them.
If you had, if you had yourself some box balls, that'd be a really great one to clip into a ball to really stand out from the rest.
Yeah, and you know, I did a garden about 12 years ago in my street, and I walked the dog past it. And 12 years later, there's still a beautiful hedge, fabulous colour, really, really nice. So what we've got here, if you wanted winter colour in your garden, here's a great way of getting it. This is a beautiful green leaf summer flowering or spring flowering dogwood that has golden stems in the winter, or red stems. So we have red and gold, and we've got them, and you've got them reduced from $36.99 to $19.99, and reduced from $29.99, the yellow one, to $19.99. So only $19.99. Put something really colourful, unusual, and plant them together. Put the red and the yellow together. It looks fantastic. $19.99 for a beautiful rare dogwood that'll give you a fabulous winter colour.
And how big will they grow, Chris?
They're sort of a bushy multi-stem thing that's going to finish up about 2 and a bit metres tall.
Excellent.
Okay, now what we've got here, this is your Tom Thumb, and your Tom Thumb is once you go north of the divide, you'll find it's much hardier than, say, an English box. It'll take heat, it'll take poor soil, it'll take a little bit of salt and take it better. So really, really good tough. Plant 4 of them, good tough hedge, plant 4 of them to the metre, grow them into a round domey ball or grow them as a hedge. And these ones here, reduced from $6.99 to $5.99. So $5.99, really, really cheap. 4 to the metre makes a very cheap hedge. And if you're in a spot where the soil's not that great, where the climate's really harsh, this is a really, really, really good choice, and it's only $5.99. Now here we've got a popular Gardenia, which has a beautiful flower. I'll show you the flower here. Have a look at that flower. It has a beautiful flower. Lovely luscious foliage, beautiful gardenia. Now these are not expensive. These are reduced from $14.99 to $12.99 for a Gardenia Ivy Yoshiba. Beautiful gardenia, beautiful big gardenia, and only $12.99. Now everybody's favourite gardenia is your Gardenia Florida. If you want to have a low spreading gardenia, say something that grows 80 or 90 centimetres tall and spreads right out, it's your Gardenia Florida. Fabulous fragrant flowers, beautiful white flowers, loves a bit of good soil, loves plenty of water, loves plenty of fertiliser. Gardenia Florida reduced from $14.99 to $12.99, and these are beautiful bushy little plants. Look at that, for $12.99, Gardenia Florida. So here we have Metrocedrus Tahiti. Now this is a beautiful red flowering Metrocedrus, lovely dark green glossy leaf. Grow this as a low hedge, grow it as a specimen, grow it as a bush, clip it into a round shape, clip it into a square shape. Very, very hardy, grow almost anywhere, good in a coastal situation. So Metrocedrus reduced from $12.99 to $9.99. So $9.99 for beautiful red flowering Metrocedrus, or New Zealand Christmas tree. So here we have one of the most sought after plants at the moment. This is the Gardenia Pittosporum Miss Muffet. So that's your Tahiti.
Oh.
Your Tahiti, beautiful flowering Tahiti there. But here's your Miss Muffet. Your Miss Muffet can be grown as a sort of a low dome, a natural sort of low dome. It's bushy, it's low, it's got beautiful glossy foliage. That's it planted as a hedge there. So a beautiful plant, and we've got them here in 8-inch pots, reduced from $49.99 to $32.99. So $32.99, and that's a beautiful, in the garden design, I often use them to grow where people say don't want to have to clip an English box ball. These will grow into a beautiful ball without any clipping. Beautiful glossy green foliage, lovely plant, and amazing fragrant flowers in springtime that are sort of hidden in amongst the foliage. So your Miss Muffet, $49.99 down to $32.99.
And I've got to say, I think they're huge in Toorak Gardens, among the Toorak Gardens right now.
Yeah. Now these are about to be covered in pink flowers, and these are called Minikin Indian Hawthorn. Now if you're after a little mini, nice little round shape, a nice little round shaped Indian Hawthorn, so they're not coming up though. Here we are there. Beautiful little pink flowers, and this is a little mini Indian Hawthorn. You can clip it into a nice little round shape or grow it as a little tiny hedge, and it's going to be covered in pink flowers, and these are really cheap. These are reduced from $16.99 to $9.99, and and grow it as a hedge, grow it as a little ball, grow it as a specimen, grow it in a tub. But beautiful little round dome with fabulous pink flowers. Minikin Indian Hawthorn, $9.99.
So Chris, if people are watching this and they want to nab some of these specials, ordering is super simple. You can simply tap the pinned comment at the top of any of the social chats that whichever platform you're on, or you can scan the QR code that's up on the screen next to Chris, and then you can browse your favourites.
There's a Minikin there covered in flowers.
Add them to your cart. I'd get onto that.
Yeah. Now here's one of the handiest little plants. If you've got a real shady spot and you're looking to put a bit of colour into that shady spot, this will grow in the deepest, darkest shade. It will also grow in the sun. It could be grown as a hedge, grown as an individual plant. It could be trimmed into a round ball, trimmed into a square shape. Beautiful, fast-growing plant. Fast, easy to grow anywhere, and these have been reduced from $8.99 to $5.99. So $5.99 for the gold fuchsia.
All right, well, Chris, that brings us to the end of the sale today. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in for our Bargain Bonanza.
Yeehaw!
Now, don't forget, you can pick up some of these bargains if you click the pinned comment, scan the QR code on your screen to grab any of your favourite plants before they're gone. Stock is limited, so we definitely encourage you to get in sooner rather than later. If you want to re-watch this stream on YouTube, you can do that. The video will be up just after we finish in a few moments. And then if I would say, don't forget that we also go live every Monday for our Q&A session. If you've got a plant care question, or you've got issues with watering, pests, lighting, soil, Chris has got all the answers.
Yeah, so that's Monday 12 o'clock, or next Friday 12 o'clock we'll be having our next Grower Direct flash sale. And what's going to happen is basically this sale will be live right through till lunchtime next Friday. So you can go online, ring up, come in and buy these bargains that you've seen here today. All available until sold out, or until 12 o'clock next Friday.
So from Chris and I, thanks very much to Tez and Suman for carting all the plants in and out of here today. Thanks for Jen and Mickey for keeping our tech running smoothly. And to you all, we'll see you on Monday.
Okay, thank you very much. And yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Bargain Bonanza, live till next Friday, 12 o'clock.